questions that you want to answer, or that the test will cover. You want to know the answers to. So here's the data, and this is the way the data will look like when you open it up for the day of the test. I have everything boxed off like this. Not only, I think I even have the question numbers, like this is for question 18, this is for question 21, or whatever the question is. It'll look like this. Now, mini-tab, you can have it in different columns, or you can have it stacked. I prefer it in different columns because I like to be able to say this one's first, this one's second. Engine room is not that way. It has to be stacked in engine room. So mini-tab can be in both conditions. So it can be stacked or unstacked. I'll show you the difference. I think I have it worked out so it doesn't matter if it's stacked. When it's in different columns, I can sit there and say, okay, this minus this, so I can put whatever one I put first is going to take that one. Okay? But if it's in this condition, it's just going to take alphabetically the first minus the last. Okay? So it's up to you. Now, if you're using engine room, it has to be stacked. So all I ask is that you read the null and alternative hypothesis when you're using engine room, just to make sure it's the order which you want. Okay? So you're not answering the wrong question, because it'll give you the wrong answer if you don't set it up right. And this isn't demo. All right. So here's the data. Just since I'm using engine room now, just go ahead and I'm just going to take this set of data here. Come on. Control C. Go over to engine room, and then I'm just going to edit, and then just click on here. Don't make sure you don't have the cursor going in here because it's going to put everything in that one file. So I'm going to click off here, and then click back on. Make sure the cursor's not there, and I'm going to hit Control V, paste it in. Now, if I had the cursor there, it would put everything in that one cell. Engine room's a little persnickety, okay? It's very sensitive. It doesn't, it's not the easiest thing to work with at times. I like it, I do like it, but it has its little idiosyncrasies. All right, Alt-Tab. Go back here, the next set of data. And I would do this before the test, and you don't want to do this during your test. You're being timed during your test, so get in early, take care of this, and make life easier on yourself. Now, all set up. There you go, there's all the data. And that's what I would try to get that done before the test, right? You don't want to waste your time doing that during a test. You just lost 2 minutes. Okay? All right, these are the first 5 questions that are worth 10 points each. So at 170, was it 175 points? Yeah, this would be the first 5 I answer, right? So let's just go over this right now. So let me just, the first one. So I'll give you a narrative, and you'll have to set it all up. So the first one, when I was at Quest Diagnostics, the cystic fibrosis test down in Chantilly, Virginia, not Chantilly, anyway, it's down there. It's in Virginia. Close enough. Chantilly, Virginia. And a cystic fibrosis test took 9 days, and Dr. Vicky Pratt, she said, well, I could probably do it in 2 days if I had to. You know, just work on one all the way through. Probably take about 2 days to do it. And it was taking 9 days. So anyway, the question was, well, why is it taking 9 days? And can we cut this in half? Cut it to at least 4 days, 4.5 days. So the mean before we worked on the project was approximately 9 days. And the goal of the project was to reduce it by at least 50%. So take half of that off. So I wanted the X bar after to be 4.5 days. I wanted to show, not percent days. I wanted to show that I was able to cut it by 50%. That's what our goal was. Okay? So what's my null and alternative hypothesis? My null hypothesis in my alternative is I wanted the mean before minus the mean after to be what? Now what does to be greater than or less than? Well, yes.
Would be greater than or equal to 4.5.
This one here?
Or, yeah, sorry, that would be less than or equal to and greater than on the bottom.
Yeah, so if I subtract, if this mean is 9, and this, if this is less than 4.5 days, then if I subtract the means, this number's gonna be greater than 4.5, right? Okay, so that's the null, that's the null and alternative hypothesis I wanna set up. Okay, that's what I wanna set up. So again, alpha equals 0.05. So I'm gonna give you a narrative, you're gonna have to work this through. You have to think, okay, what's the null and alternative hypothesis? Because this is what you're gonna have to put in the software for it to analyze your data correctly. All right, so let's go back here. Lower the screen. So once you input the data, just save the changes. And if you click on it here, you'll see, okay, here's the days, here's the condition, and everything else. So here it is. The first question was, here's the days before, pre, and then here's the days after, post. Okay, and here's how long the cystic fibrosis test took. So I have the pre and post data, there it is. Again, you can go look at the data in here if you want to. You can edit it and look at the data. There it is, pre and post. Okay, but to analyze it, you're gonna have to save the changes and then analyze it from here. So what type of a test is this? Do you have a question? Oh, no, you have. I didn't see your, so, yes?
So paired t-test? Or, wait, for the,
So this test,
how
how many samples do we have? Pre and post? Two, so it's a
two
two
sample
sample t-test.
two sample.
Very good. All right, so under analyze, you can use the hypothesis testing with it. Yeah, let's not. Let's be, okay, we're being professional. Put your big plate pants on and go to parametric and choose the test you want. Okay, so I'm gonna go, right here it is, two means test, okay? Two sample t-test. Click on it, click on it.
Can you explain why it's not paired?
Because it's pre and post, okay? So it's not the same test. I'm running the same test. So I don't run this test one way and then the exact the specimen with the old process, the old new process. So it's not the same specimens, it's different specimens.
Yeah.
Okay? Oh, there we go, we finally got it. Now here's where you put what I want to do in. Okay, so what do I want my alternative hypothesis? We said we wanted it greater than, and what was our test standard? It wasn't 0, it was what? 4.5. So make sure you put 4.5 in here. If you don't, you're going to come up with the wrong answer more than likely. Okay? Depends on how I set up the test. And I assure you, I set it up where if you don't put that in there, it's going to be wrong, right? It's not my first rodeo. Make sure your alpha level is set here. Your significance level is 0.05. Now you just click over here and drag one. So my group variable is the condition. That's what's changing. And my data variable is right here. That's the actual numerical. And you can tell, I'm gonna take that back here. when you look at this is numerical data because it has a histogram. This is text data because it has ABC, okay? And Morse key. If you're looking at that and you say, oh, it's all text, you inputted it in the wrong field. You might have input the title of it in the first row versus the title column. Okay, if you do that, go back and change it, okay? I can't analyze text data, okay? That cannot be your numerical data, the data variables. It has to be actual data. So click on this, drag it over, and it's gonna work its magic. Boom, 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 here it is. I like to click this, where is this? Didn't even have it there. I like to use this in the max mode, so I can see everything. So here it is. Make sure this is correct. The mean of the pre minus the mean of the post. Okay, you didn't choose it, it chose it. That's if you look here under the slide, that's what we wanted. The mean pre minus the mean post. So that's what we wanted. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Check that, because if it's reversed, then you're going to have to redo your whole thing again, right? Make sure that that's correct. Make sure your null and alternative hypothesis is what you wanted it to read. Okay? Now we look at this. First thing I like to look at is the p-value. There it is. The p-value is 2 times 10 to the negative 4, so it's 0.0002. If you click on, if you put your cursor right here on this line, it'll actually give you the p-value. And this is going to lie to me here. Make me a liar. Yeah, I don't want you anymore. Huh. It used to give you your actual p-value here. Here it is. The p-value is 0.000246. Is that less than alpha?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we rejected all. So yes, the number of days we took off was greater than 4.5 days. All right, so here's all the data. Here's my means. So 9.56 days to 3.22 days. Okay, standard deviation, variance, everything here. Here's my Anderson-Darling test. Anderson-Darling is a test for normality. Are the data normal? All right, so the null hypothesis for Anderson-Darling test are the data are normal, and the other one is the data is not normal. So with a p-value of my Anderson-Darling test of 0.1415 and 0.8536, both of those data sets are normal because the p-values are high, so I would not reject my null hypothesis that the data are normal. All right, so the data is normal, equal variances, okay? Everything looks good, everything's fine. One thing nice about Engine Room, it'll tell you if it fails one of the assumptions. It'll say it's failing this assumption. Do you want to proceed? You can still proceed, okay? But that's nice, you know, oh, it doesn't pass this assumption. So everything here looks good. You can look at your, let's see, here's a summary data. So not only did I change the mean, so here's the mean right here, and here's the mean post, I've also reduced a lot of the variability. Look at the Mox and Whisker plot, much, much narrower. So got rid of some of the variation. Here's my confidence interval. Again, I say it's 4.5. It's anywhere between, I knocked off anywhere between 5.5 days and 7, well, this infinite there, because I had a greater than, so I knocked off at least 5.5 days off that. Here's my test statistic. Okay, what should it be? And what was it? My test statistic for critical value is 3.88, and what was it here? Excuse me, it was 3.88. Right here is the upper end, right here, 1.6. So if it's greater than 1.694, it's acceptable. It's you can fail or null hypothesis. Well, it's 3.88, so it's definitely above that. So we failed to reject the null. All these things are telling you the same thing. To me, I just like the p-value. If the p is low, reject the null hypothesis. So I would say, and it gives you the nice conclusion here, at a 5% level, reject the null hypothesis. The mean of the pre minus the mean of the post is greater than 4. So there it is, spells it out for you in English. Okay? So that's the first one. Again, try this on your own so you can get comfortable using this software. The test questions are gonna be very similar, not gonna be this, but they're gonna be something similar, all right? All right, so that's the first one, and then you just exit the max mode, and then close it, and it goes over here. You don't ever lose it. It automatically saves, you never lose this. You don't have to save anything in Engine Room. It automatically saves for you, okay? So if you want it back, right there it is. All right, so the next one.